Hi, everyone. Welcome back to this unexpected but very pleasant case of having an extra edition of Fuelarts webinar online series. This one is devoted to our new report. We're happy to say that, it has been a year since the release of our first Fuelarts Startups Report. And over this last 12 months, we created two more reports. So this is our third edition, and I'm happy to all the Art+Tech colleagues, to Art+Tech friends, to Art+Tech competitors who did their best to make this report better, to provide their feedback and to support us throughout this year. My name is Denis Pelkevich. I'm the co-founder and general partner at Fuelarts, and part of our team. I'm happy to welcome here as the co-host of today's online presentation, Sonia Stubblebine, project manager at Fuelarts, and Jeff Ashleyman, head of investment relations at Fuelarts, and also a proud mentor of the Fuelarts and Tezos Accelerator 23, which is being held now. So welcome everyone, and today we'll have a short recap of this big report. This time it contains 80 pages, so you can see the QR code, and please feel free during our presentation to scan it and to download it directly and start using it. So, of course, we will not discuss all the 80 pages of the report today, but we'll focus on the most essential ones. And I will also need the quotes from my colleagues, from Jeff and from Sonia, on some key issues, key information points of bullet points of this report. So let's move on. Again, hi Sonia, hi Jeff.
Hi, super excited to finally show this report, and I'm looking forward to talking about all the interviews we included in this amazing work.
Same here, excited to go over everything and see what we found.
Okay, again, thank you for your contribution to the report, but we'll speak about the contributions of the Fuelarts team a bit later. So let's put it formally. As you can see, 2022 became the most successful investment year for Art+Tech and NFT startups in their history. So 248 young Art+Tech companies received 3.48 billion in cumulative investments over the past 12 months. Here at this page, you can see the definition between first half of the year and second half of the year. So as we can see, in the first 6 months of 2022, they received 75% of that cumulative value, and only 25% in terms of H2 2022. So next, please. So by comparison, 2022 cumulative investment made up 48% of all investments in this segment in the ecosystem since 2000, which amounts to 7.06 billion. So this seems even more surprising given the decline in the NFT sales and the overall crypto recession in 2022. But we have this definition here. So 14 startups in physical art market and 235 companies in digital art and NFT market. And it may sound strange because last year was the most successful year in terms of sales sales value in the physical art market, but we have only 14 startups from that part being funded. At the same time, the bearish market trend have resulted in strong decline of the NFT sales, but we have the most successful year in both the number of the startups funded and in the cumulative value of that investment. So it seems like when everything goes wrong, when everything goes fine on the classic art market, the art market strategists do not care about investments in that particular sphere like it was before the pandemic. When the pandemic started, everyone started taking care about art tech startups, and vice versa. When we have declined NFT sales, everyone starts thinking about how to support that market in terms of investment in infrastructural startups. My first question to Jeff, like looking at that substantial numbers, does it mean that investors see the future of the market despite the current bearish cycle, or they simply couldn't just stop planning investment rounds against the backdrop of a hot 2021? So why did the 2022 bring such amazing results?
So I think obviously, they have spent a lot of time and money already in their pipelines, in their investments, in their companies, and they don't just want to, stop that just because of a small bear market or whatnot. So I think obviously you could tell that it dropped at the end of the year, right, in 2022, the investment that kind of goes along with the bear market. I don't really think that has anything to do with their investments in their particular companies that they're already in. I think as we'll probably go later in this, you'll see that they're continuing to spend money in the portfolios and the companies that they've already invested in. They're just not taking new ones on. So I think what they're doing is they're still just continuing to plow ahead, continue to go with what they do and test in each little area, because that's pretty much the only thing you can do right now in this kind of uneven market to kind of see what is going to be the highest percentage chance of that next big thing, or the next small thing finally working.
Thank you, Jeff. Yeah, it also should be understood that only 9 of 149 art tech startups received investments above 100 million. So their overall cumulative investments amount to 2.1 billion, or 60% of all investments in the sector in 2022. Like we can enumerate the top 3 startups like Yuga Labs, creators of the Bored Ape Yacht Club. They received 450 million. Animoca Brands game production, 359 million, and the OpenSea NFT marketplace with their investment back in January 2022, which amounted to 300 million. But the remaining 240 startups amounted for 1.4 billion, or the average 5.8 million per young company, which is also an amazing result. So it's if we just delete the top 9 startups from that amazing number, we'll still have 240 startups with nearly 6 million deployed in each of them, which is also let's say record in terms of the middle range of investments in those startups. So next, please. Yeah, here we have, as you know, we at Fuelarts, we define the current infrastructure ecosystem as the value chain having 4 main links, like production, trade, management, and analytics. And of course, we should understand that 2021 was the year of marketplaces, so the main investments came from investors supporting trading platforms, like 56% were deployed in that, in trading, in marketing, online marketplaces, mostly NFT marketplaces. But the situation changed dramatically in the first half of 2022, as we can see. So design studios creating new content received the most, like more than around 1.4 billion, or 52%. So in that case, the market recognized that the current problem lied precisely in high quality NFT content, and turned investments that way. So, but if we look at the second part of the year, we see that the number of analytical startups exploring the NFT market and creating indices and trading signals, so they rapidly increased in the second half of 2022. So 20 such young companies received investments at once, compared to 6 companies in the first half of the year. Next, please. So we can see that, right? We can see that, in other words, 38% of the 53 analytic startups which have ever existed in the public space of ArtTech received investments in 2022, which is, well, that's really amazing. That's really amazing. And my question to Jeff. So, what's your attitude towards supporting analytic startups? Let me share my thoughts first, please. It would be right if the market started with supporting analytical startups, then content creation, and only then supported the marketplaces. We have, as we see, we have the upside down strategy. But though it's good that the market has already come to this, so through just gaps, hazards, and some mistakes. What's your opinion, Jeff?
Perfect. Thank you. So I think it's a classic case of, obviously, analytics being the most important, but the least sexy. So I think it's a classic case of every fund, every investment, every venture capital company, like I said, the bull rush, the classic gold rush, where they were just throwing money into the next hot thing, right? Not caring about anything else, just hoping, kind of riding the wave up. I've seen that in every market, in every asset class. Now, obviously, after they see that not having discipline can cost them, right? And then once they have kind of the bull market end, a little bit of the crash happen. Obviously, we're currently in a little bit of a bear market now. Now, I believe people are starting, at least the conversations that I'm having with people, they're starting to say, maybe analytics, maybe that thing that's not sexy, knowing where the next might thing be, maybe that's something important. So I think what they're doing is now realizing that they should, instead of chase the dollar, chase where the next big thing is. And I think they're actually smart and wising up and putting their money into the analytics to kind of, again, improve the percentage of what's the next big thing. Because you never know, but analytics data, that's why it's so important. It can help you out. And at the end of the day, everyone's trying to have great returns, great profits, great companies. And the highest way to do that without getting lucky sometimes is to kind of know what's next and what's important. So that's why I think money's now starting to go into analytics, because they see it's not only beneficial, but they've also gotten hurt on some investments that they did not focus on that at first.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff. I love what you say. You have pronounced for 3 or more times next big thing, next big thing. I should add that for me in particular, it's just like a hallmark that reflects the mood of investors. So, like investing in analytic startups, now they stress, okay, we do believe that those startups will have something to analyze in, let's say, 12 to 18 months. So they In other words, they believe that in a year and a half, there will be a lot of data, trading data, to work with. So they believe in the future of digital assets. Like, they believe that the market will have recovered and entered a new round by this time. From 12 to 18 months. Yeah, next slide, please. So here you can see the same key figures, but in monetary terms, not in terms of the startups, the quantity, but in terms of the amount of investments. Next, please. Yeah, it's very, very interesting that ArtTech and NFT startups founded in 2022 received only, less than 5% of the overall funding of all the companies in this sector created in different years. Of course, all of them represented digital and NFT market, but last year we had above 30% of investment deployed in the newborn companies. So, Jeff, have you noticed that trend that investors were mostly supporting mature startups, not the newborn, and also mostly taking part in the rounds of the startups they had previously invested in?
Short answer, yes. Of every fund and investor that I've talked to, again, everybody knows it's kind of an environment where nobody knows what the hell is going to happen next, right? So in multiple conversations with founders of these funds, they've told me, not only on startups, but even in companies that look like great investments, they say that even though we think there's a lot to be invested in, we have no real desire to take on additional investments, to deploy our capital into new companies until I would say the environment's a little bit more kind of known, right? Which might take some time, but they're wanting to also, because they don't know how. I know I said the next big thing, right? They don't know what is the next thing that's necessarily going to be able to bring them money. So they're wanting to focus on the investments and the companies that they already have, rather than throwing good money to additional opportunities that they don't know. They're wanting to focus on what they have right now. And that's why any startup right now is going to be having trouble funding new investment, and you have to focus on the investors you currently have, which is why investor relations right now is more important than almost fundraising, because if you do have people that have invested right now, they're going to be your best source for additional capital.
Yeah, thank you for this comment. And we have the next slide, please. So just a small recap here. You could see when you download the report the investments in ArtTech and NFT startups by months. And here you could see the top winners of the industry, and to compare, let's say, the money they received with the rest of the startups. And also here you can see the cross industries comparison, like the dependence of the correlation with the cryptocurrency market and with the physical market. And we should admit that in the second part of the year, the investments in ArtTech and NFT startups became less dependent on the overall economic situation, like Dow Jones Industrial Average Index, but more dependent on the current situation on the crypto market. So next, please, you will also have the chance to look through the key events of the first 6 months and the second ones on the next slide, please. And yes, next, please. Yeah, we also try to, thanks to Anders Petterson, the founder of ArtTactic, he brought us this idea just to show the comparison of the last 5 years of the market. So Anders, thank you again for that. We just put that on this diagram, and we also made a short recap to understand what was going on in terms of physical and digital market of investments into art tech each year, before the pandemic, during pandemic, and nowadays. Yeah, the chart looks significant if we look at the results of 2022. Next, please. Yeah, we also renewed our ecosystem map, infographics of all the art tech startups, the initiative which we started last year. So next, please. And yeah, let's jump into investors. Here we have some numbers. So we have, yes, those 249 startups had 262 funding rounds. Not that big, only, let's say, 1.05 round per startups, but the number of investors was, let's say, nearly 4 times bigger. And what's interesting is that 18% of them have made more than one investment in 2022. If to compare the two halves of the year, so this number increased. This number increased, like during the first half, the investors were testing water, but then they made several other investors. But 3 or more investments were made only by 6% of investors so far. Next, please. Yeah, and 92% of investors deployed their money in only one art tech and NFT startups. So, and yeah, 556 investors who had previously deployed their money in H1 stayed aside investments in the second part of the year. In terms of activity, venture capitalists and individuals were the most active in funding those startups. And what else we found from the report, it's not indicated here, but you will find the more extensive information inside the report. I'd like to especially put a stress on that we also saw the increase of attention towards investments from strategic investors, strategic VCs, like investment banks and family offices, who are traditionally making middle-term and long-term investors. These are also good indicators because it shows that they they think that this market will raise again in a certain period of time, in several years, for sure. Next, please. So yeah, you can also find here the definition, the division between traditional individual crypto investors. Next, please. We will not stop on that. Yeah, here we made a list of the investors who have made more than 3 investments in, or let's say 3 or more investments in 2022. And from what I see here, there were 53 investors. So please study that list. I'm addressing to the startups now. Study that list, and you'll have more chances to receive investments from those who are used to do that on a regular basis. Next, please. You will see there the more extensive thank you. Yeah, we started receiving questions, but we'll get back to them a bit later. So thank you for sending it to us. More extensive, more expanded universe of investors who took part in 22. Yeah, we already started researching and analyzing 2023 trends. But next slide, please. What we have here, of course, the most investors, not of course, but yeah, the most of investors were representing North America, US in particular. But the second place have investors with undisclosed, let's say, incorporation or decentral investors, mostly crypto investors, and this number increased significantly from H1 to H2 2022. Next, please. Yeah, that's a nice diagram, but the explanation of it should be on the next slide. So yeah, in terms of the stage of the company, the highest cumulative investments were received by seed stage startups, so 142 companies, and as we said, so the middle investment of overall startups. I mean, if we exclude the 9 who had received more than 100 million, so it was around 6 million. Last year, a lot of startups, even starting from pre-seed and seed stage, they started receiving enormous money, which they couldn't think about, let's say 2 or 3 or even 2 years ago, like starting from 2 million checks, 5 million. So it was like, for me, it was like the desire of the investors to catch the train, to jump into the train, to just be before I don't know, before the bear market or the crisis, because most of those money from, according to our research, which the seed and pre-seed startups received, was planned to be deployed in marketing. So with the aggressive marketing to stay, let's say, safe and to stay active on this on this market. So, Jeff, my question to you: how could you comment from, of course, you've contributed a lot and spoke about the investment attention earlier, but in general, how could you just summarize the investment climate in 2022, excluding what you have already said before?
So, yeah, as I mentioned, I think, without going over that too much, as the numbers have showed, there's many people that have wanted to get their feet wet, invest in the industry. They don't know what the heck's going to happen next, but they want to be a part of it somehow, right? You've even seen that institutionally. More institutions have started to even put small pieces in it, and also maybe recommend to their clients to put a small piece in the industry as well, right? But even though more people in 2022 started to invest, there's still not that many that are willing to do it continuously. I think they wanted to jump in once, maybe twice, but there's very few, obviously the big ones, that are continuously making, investments. And so there's not a lot of conviction. There's a lot of love for it, to put investments in, but not much conviction to keep it doing, to keep investing more than 1 or 2 companies. I think, though, that a lot of the money, like you said at the end, they're putting into marketing and things like this, because they're really having to, and production especially, which you'll see later in the thing, is because the companies, they want everybody to know about it, because the people that are in crypto, Web3, whatever you want to call it, they love it, right? But still, one of the main problems is getting the people that are not involved in it, and that's really never changing. And so you can have the crypto bull market, you can have the crypto bear market, but still the majority of outsiders aren't really coming in. So I think they're putting a lot of money in marketing to really kind of expand the horizon into new territories, into new customers, into new clients, because it's, at least on the whole, if the crypto and Web3 industry, if they're never, even if they do great things, if they're never able to bring the other, the outsiders in, where's it going to go? So I think a lot of it's in marketing in that sense. And the case will be still, it's still to be determined if it will take effect with the majority of people. There's a lot of people that love it, a lot of people that don't, but the people need to take over if it wants to go somewhere. Hope that made sense.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff. I would appreciate this reply if I was a listener, but as soon as we're colleagues, yeah, I'm happy to share your thoughts and ideas on a corporate basis, but they are smart, of course. So next, please. Yeah, just a quick recap. We have the next three sections of the report are devoted to the art and tech ecosystem in whole, which contains so-called physical art tech startups, which deal with physical objects of art, and digital art and tech startups, which deal with digital art, including NFTs. So here we have the value chain links and the numbers. And just next, please. Yes, you'll have a great chance to study that yourself. Just in terms of the quantity of the startups, each segment has the quantity of the startups, the top 5 investments, and the segmentation in terms of the volume of the investment deployed into each sphere, into each value chain link. Then it comes geography traditionally. Then we have, here we have, please stop on this slide. So here we have the top 20 startups in terms of investments. As you can see, 18 of them represent digital and NFT startups. Only 2 of them, namely Studio and Conveyo, they represent physical art tech, art education, and asset management, art asset management platform. So as you can see, even from top 20, still there are 2 physical art tech startups, like with significant numbers, 50 million and 35 million of investment, which is good, but at the same time, only 2 of them represent the physical art market. So we've enumerated the top 3. No need to put a stress on that. We're happy that one of the partners of Fuelarts and exactly Fuelarts and Tezos Accelerator, which is happening now. I mean, Unstoppable Domains is also in this list on place number 10 with 65 million in total investments received in 2022. Also good news that one of the analytics startups, Coinmetrics, who are developing the NFT index in particular, they also received 35 million of investment, which is, we couldn't think about these numbers several years ago, which is good. So next, please. Yeah, and then we have physical art and tech universe with the volcano style background. By the way, in the end of the webinar, we'll have a small design surprise for you. So then we have, yes, you can just show the pages one after another. Next, please. Next, please. So what's going on the physical art, on the physical art tech market? Next, please. And then next, please, we have the digital and NFT universe. Yeah, with more eye-catching colors. Here, I want to put a stress. Could you please return back to the previous page? Here we have the 12 startups which explore visualization. Those who were attentively reading our previous reports, they might have noticed that in our previous report, namely in September 2022, like H1 22 report, there was no visualization startups. Right, and now they are here again. What has happened? A small explanation. So after Mark Zuckerberg said that matter is the future, the most of the visualization startups, they spread their activity between GameFi and also metaverse, which was a part of research and development as we structure that in Fuelarts. So in the first half of the year, there were no visualization startups which were exploring and solving art-related problems, just direct art-related problems. But in the second part, 12 of the startups returned back. Some of them appeared, some of them returned back and received investments from both GameFi and from Metaverse, and started or continued working on for the sake of the art market. So that's why we started indicating them again. Next, please. Next, please. Yes, the same. This in this report, we will start the tradition of representing some, let's say, giving a recap on the different ecosystems which work closely with the art market. And in this particular report, we are starting, next, please. Yeah, with the Tezos Art Ecosystem. So this is our, no, could you please return back? Yeah, this is our view based on the public sources on how the, let's say, the art part of the Tezos ecosystem works, exists, develops. So you'll find here benefits of Tezos for arts. You'll find their analytic research, analytic approach. You'll find here, like on this diagram, we put together again from public sources. So something could have been missed here. Yeah, we found there the and circled out the 46 startups which are currently developing the art part of the large scale Tezos startup ecosystem. As you can see, those green dots, they represent the 10 startups which we're currently working with, inside the Fuelarts and Tezos Accelerator. So again, on the 27th of April, we're inviting you to join our demo day, but we consider them all to be a part already of the Tezos Art family. Next, please. Yeah, and thanks to our partners for this report, this tech report, who are constantly analyzing and delivering information about the numbers of Tezos ecosystem. So that means that there are people and companies who do care about delivering the numbers to the audience, to the community, which is very important for the investors investing their money into Tezos-related startups. Again, in several weeks, we'll have an additional webinar with Erwin, the founder of the Stack Report. So don't miss it in, I believe, 3 weeks. So next, please. Yeah, what's next? A good question. What's next? So we conducted our survey in this part, and thank God we had an increased numbers of the startups which replied positively to our appeal to take part in this survey, as well as the art strategists. So you'll find there the 2 groups of replies from both the startups and from art strategists. Next, please. I'd like to comment on some info. Yes. So as we can see here, like the primary means of finding new investors in 2022, according to startups, was through recommendations from friends, and then word of mouth and networking at conferences, like peer-to-peer, one-on-one personal contact. Because during the crisis, such professional tools, good tools, perfect tools, but they work during the let's say the cold contacts, yeah, like LinkedIn and Crunchbase or PitchBooks. So now they were less effective, frankly speaking, ineffective, which means that during the bear market, during the crisis, only personal recommendations matter. And what is personal recommendations? Personal recommendations is something which is based on trust. So in order to prepare for the crisis, you also have to prepare your investment relations to be well spoken about. So, and and in the second part of 2022, startups returned to trusted tools with minimal checks, like such as grant programs, which is very important now, and accelerators. Next, please. Yes, here I would like to stop that. 87% of startups considered their current business model to be resistant in the face of potential crisis. Of course, they replied in January to our survey. So we still don't know how much of those startups kept their assets in Silicon Valley Bank, which means again that current business model and the stability of your current sustainability of your current business model also should include where you keep your money, not only the, let's say, uniqueness of your idea. What's next? The next we have
case studies, don't we?
We have case studies. We have case studies. Yes, according to strategists, the biggest threat to the development of the art tech market is the current bearish trend. Okay. So, and what's interesting that this figure, I mean, the second fear, I mean, was. I mean, the percentage of the people who voted for the second fear, like the economic crisis, global economic crisis, was nearly 3 times lower than the current bearish trend. Everyone is in crypto. So, and vice versa, strategists consider the new bull market cycle as the key to revival of the NFT market by a significant margin. Yes, and less important, large investments in the industry and the massive transition of physical art to NFT format. Yes, they have, according to strategists, they're less important. Okay, so Sonia, your area of responsibility, could you please present the speakers of the interviews from the case studies?
Absolutely. Yeah. So for this report, very excited to tell you all about it. We did 7 interviews with 7 representatives of art and tech and NFT space. So the first one, as you can see, we did an interview with founder and managing director of ArtTactic, Anders Petterson. So that was a very interesting interview where we mostly focused on ArtTactic. So we discovered the history of the company, the main milestones. We also talked about different projects that ArtTactic was running and is running at the moment. So, for example, Art Forecaster project. Also, we talked about NFT report that ArtTactic recently launched. And obviously, we did use this opportunity to talk about NFT technology and what Anders Petterson thinks of NFT technology and how it can help the art market in the future. So the next case study that we did, yes, thank you, was with Chief Commercial Officer at the Tezos Foundation, Mason Edwards. So here we obviously focused on Tezos Foundation. So we talked about what is Tezos Foundation, what's its mission, its goals for 2023. Also, we did discover what kind of factors Tezos Foundation looks at when they consider startups for grants and investments. Obviously, we did use this opportunity to talk about Manchester United and Tezos collaboration. So that was interesting to reveal the details. And we finished with the plans for 2023 for Tezos Foundation. In the next interview, we talked to CEO of Arcual, Bernadine Bröcker Wieder. So that was a very interesting conversation, mostly about Arcual. So we talked about what is the company, what's the mission behind the company. We also talked how Arcual can help both galleries and collectors. And also in January talked about art and tech sector. So we talked, how it can develop in the future and what kind of opportunities there can be. The next interview was actually dedicated to virtual reality. So we talked to founder and CEO of ALL.ART, Vitomir Jevremovic. So that was an interesting opportunity when it talked about VR technology, what it actually is, what's about. We also talked about the company, obviously, of Vitomir VR ALL.ART. So we talked about what kind of services it provides, to whom it can be beneficial, apparently to all representatives of the art market. And we also talked about the future of virtual reality. We talked about how it can solve many problems within the market in general. So the next interview here was with one of the representatives of FX Hash growth team, Paul Schmidt. So that was a very interesting conversation about generative art. I think it's one of the things that everyone been talking about for a long time in 2022 and 2023, obviously. So we talked actually what is generative art, because people describe it very differently, and so Paul gave his own description. Also, we talked about FX Hash and how it actually stands out in a very competitive market of NFT platforms. And in January, we talked in the end about generative art in the future. So what's going to be in a year or two. So the interview number 6 that we included in our report was with head of art at TriliTech, Valérie Whitacre. So that was a conversation mostly focused on Tezos ecosystem. So we talked about why Tezos wants to become a leading blockchain for arts. We also discovered more about art startups in Tezos ecosystem. And in the end, we discovered more about partnerships of Tezos with Deloitte Art and Finance and also with Art Basel. And the last one that we did for this report was with CEO and head of business development at Unstoppable Domains, Sandy Carter. So that was absolutely amazing conversation about Unstoppable Domains that Dennis has already mentioned today many times. So we talked about what is Unstoppable Domains, what kind of services it gives to a wide range of customers. And we also talked about Web3 ecosystem in general, what it lacks today, and in general, what it already has today. And obviously, we use this as an opportunity to show an incredible example of fundraising in a bear market, as Dennis already mentioned today. So yeah, we included these 7 case studies with 7 very important representatives of the ART+Tech and NFT ecosystem. I hope you will enjoy the read, and I hope you'll find it very interesting.
Thank you, Sonia. Again, and thank you all of the contributors to this report. So we're close to the conclusions. We put there quite a lot of conclusions from the report, but we don't want to. We want you to leave. We want to leave you with the pleasure of reading that yourself. Here is just a small recap. As we notice in our report, we finish our report with the 7 markers of the healthy Web3 art tech market as we see it. So from our perspective, what should be done in 2023 to reach the healthy market. So yeah, the NFT utility nature becomes a starting point for the successful turnover. Right, the development of smart contracts should reach new heights. Automatic updates of provenance and so on. So cross-chain NFT, we're chain agnostic here at Fuelarts. So cross-chain, the new breakthrough. The widespread use of AI tools, it should improve the user experience. It shouldn't, but it also should be very, very natural. I will ask my colleagues to stop on this particular case. The regulation of the pricing, the main it may sound disruptive, but I stand on the position that the regulation of the pricing of digital assets on the NFT market is needed. Of course, without distortions, but it's really needed. If we look why Why do I think so? Because if we look at the traditional art market, what helps the traditional art market to recover fast after economic crises or pandemic or mixed crises or other, let's say, turbulence periods? The regulations, like the price regulations. Of course, we know that we have two main measures of, let's say, of the art market: the sales volume, yeah, and the price dynamics. So what happens during crisis? So sales volume drops down, like, decreases up to from 30 to 50%. But at the same time, the price dynamics, it decreases only from 1 to 3%. The 3% was maximum during the pandemic, the most awful crisis so far, like economic crisis plus the pandemic, where everything was nearly stopped for several months. So what happened? Who just supported those prices? The regulators, top galleries, top auction houses, first of all. So they limited the supply, and in that case they increased the demand, which was also quite weak, but they increased that weak demand. So they had to they managed to support and to stabilize the price dynamics. What happens on the NFT market without the price regulation? Once the bear market started, all of the collectors started putting their NFTs on sale for whatever price they wanted. So that didn't help the market. That ruined it. Additionally to the bear market trend. So in my opinion, the regulation in terms of pricing, the main thing in terms of pricing, is natural. So let's just take the best examples like the estimates and so on, and transpose them to the NFT market. That's, of course, a point of further discussion with the strategists, with professionals, and with you as the community, as our audience, first of all. So the next one. Yes, hopefully the investors will begin to see the new signals of the market growth in the medium term. And the last one, yes, Web3 market mechanisms should be taken. We should understand that the best examples have already been created in the Web2 market. So we have to use the best business models of our predecessors from Web2 if we want to successfully enter the Web3 sphere, like NFT capitalization indices, unified databases, systems for educating, monitoring the career growth of artists, new studies in the field of asset pricing, etc. A lot of work to do. So yes, and I just want to thank our team, namely Sonia Stavelbein and Daria Rzhavtseva, for the content and research. Our strategic advisory board, my proud co-founder Roxana Zarnagar, Katya Cohen, Jeff Ashelman, hi Jeff again, and Agnieszka Cichocka. PR support, yeah, we're happy that we have a brilliant team working with us of Tezos Art Management, led by Anna Shvets and represented by Ksenia Listikova, Maria Bazhanova, and Veronika Smirnova. So our great SMM campaigns are organized and carefully managed by Olena Yara, and SMM media, all the images are prepared by Yana Barkova. And the fantastic design of this report, as well as the main Fuelarts concept. So we're obliged to Alexei Kokhanov, who is now in Kiev, Ukraine. And Alexei, we're with you. Please take care, and we're thinking of you every time with the rest of the world. You can subscribe to Alexei's Instagram account and maybe request a design for your project or startup in case Alexei has free time devoted not only to Fuelarts. So thank you, team, for this considerable work. And again, on the next slide, we can see the for those who haven't done that before, you can either go to our Fuelarts website, fuelarts.com, or just scan this QR code and receive your report. We have a bunch of congratulations. Yes, thank you, NFT Biennial. Thank you, Rahim. Thank you, Bhuvan. Thank you, John from Cheney. Thank you, Ksenia. Yeah, we've just mentioned you. Thanks for your extensive work and for organizing all that interviews. Cosmically, yes, yeah, Alexei, our designer, used the images from the Hubble telescope, which signify the birth of the new universe for this report. Which, yeah, we are entering the Web3. It's a new universe for us. Great work. Since the pandemic, so much has happened in ArtTech. Definitely a great time to look at the macro to understand how investments across industries shifted around with the market. Thank you so much, the unknown LinkedIn user. I will point your attention to page number, one sec, to page number 16. So you can see the comparison before pandemic and after pandemic in terms of investments. Michael is asking what are the most important ArtTech conferences in US, Europe, and Asia. So Michael, please visit the page number 69. We have a response from the startups replying to your question. We asked them in our survey, what art and tech and NFT market conferences do you plan to attend in 2023 based on your 2022 experience? So namely, first of all, NFT New York and Decentral and Web Summit. And this year, Decentral, they are at Decentral Denver, Decentral New York, and also Web Summit in Lisbon, and NFT New York, NFT Miami. So they are also expanding. The next ones are, of course, ArtTech Summit by Christie's, the most important conference in terms of ArtTech, exactly ArtTech, focused on ArtTech industry. Also other talks during the editions of big art fairs. And also NFT Miami Week, and there are also 5 other NFT weeks around the US and also in the Middle East. Ethereum Denver, Blockchain Live, Crypto Expo Dubai, Republica Berlin. So these are the conferences named by the startups, not only by Dennis. So we have new. Thank you, Francesco. Thank you, Francesco. Francesco from artsquare.io. Ryan, M1X Labs. On our end as well, yeah. I thought you wrote till the end. Yeah, I haven't read it till the end. We wrote it till the end, but we couldn't endure reading it again. We're joking, of course. Of course, we are reading it. So thank you again for this for the hour spent with us. Maybe my colleagues would like to have several phrases as a recap, and we're leaving you with the report and hope you'll enjoy it. And first of all, it will be helpful. Jeff, Sonia.
Sure, I'll say something, kind of what I think moving forward in regards to your comment you made a little bit early on regulation. I think regulation, it's going to be a big push to be greater regulation in the industry. In my personal opinion, I think regulation is necessary for every successful industry, because whenever times are bad, whenever times are tough, in order for people to plan, to be able to make investments, which means you're able to get their capital, they need to be able to plan. So regulation will help with that when they know the rules and they know what to do. Also, regulation will allow for more institutions to come in because they have different capital requirements about investing in non-regulated and regulated industries. Institutions obviously have everybody's capital, which will bring more capital into it. And then what I think will happen this year, I think there'll be kind of a continuation of what's happening now. Everybody's going to start throwing money everywhere in the search of the next kind of utility, which no one knows what it's going to be. But once they find that next utility, everyone's going to start throwing their money at it. For one example, kind of like, when you found out about AI and the ChatGPT deal, what happened? Everybody started acting like animals and throwing their money on it and trying to get into that thing. So I think the finding of the utility will be the next thing. So
thank you, Jeff.
Absolutely. Just want to say thank you for everyone, to everyone who was here today with us. And I hope you enjoy the report. And if you have any feedback, please come to us, give us a message, and we'll appreciate any kind of feedback. And we hope to come back soon with a new report. Thank you.
Thank you again. And we're continuing our Fuelarts and Tezos accelerators. So namely, right now we're jumping into the conversations with the startups. See you on Thursday on a regular webinar. Bye.
See you. Bye.
Thank you.